Hi, John Marshall, the DrillMaster. This is Bremerton High School. Navy J. Rotzi. This is from 2019, a requested critique. Starting off here, love the leggings. Really do. That always just looks so sharp on the Navy uniforms. And it has historic application as well. So I really appreciate that. Flags gathered well underneath the right arm. Spades not flat. Now, technically, the team really needs to have the staff that is has the upper and lower ferrules and the middle screw joint with gold colored metal, and then the battalion lance, it's sometimes called, or the battle axe. That's the device, the finial that really should be used here. But all right, so they don't have that. We'll work with what they got going. The organizational flag must have fringe. Must. The national flag is forbidden from having fringe, but that's only for the Marine Corps, Navy, Coast Guard, and anybody else who follows the Marine Corps order. So that's Navy JROTC, Sea Cadets, Marine Corps JROTC. They all do not have fringe on the national. Let's see. The flags really should be 4 foot 4 inch by 5 foot 6, and the staffs should be 9.5 feet tall. But I understand with the cadet programs having the smaller staffs, shorter staffs, 8 foot staffs, and then 3 by 4 colors. So that oh, come on, it's raining somewhere here in Florida, so that's what that means. All right, I'll pause this and we'll come back when it's ready. All right, the pause is finished, hopefully. But I had to advance. It was an inspection. All right, here we go. Yes, it worked. So on the command carry, you need to flare that hand. All right, and I'm not a huge fan of the all-in-one going to carry. I'm much more used to the ceremonial techniques. Anyway, what you have to do for carry is you flare that hand. You're at the strong grip. No, sorry, that's the ceremonial strong grip, was with the index finger pointed down. So you're at the strong grip, which is all fingers around the staff, and the command is carry colors. On colors, you're going to lift the staff and then have it hover. And I have a photo. I'll tell you what. I'll pause this here. Let me bring up the photo. I want to show you something, a technique that can help some cadets who don't have the strength to constantly hold the staff up, hovering over the harness socket. Hold on just a minute. I'll bring that up. Okay, so that's a picture of my left hand. What I've got going on here is that my left is wrapped around my two bottom fingers are wrapped around the socket, and then I've got my hand up over the socket as well, and then I'll use my pike pull here, and then I've got the lower ferrule. I'm squeezing that in my fingers so that I can hold the staff with both hands, steady it with my right, let it rest on my fingers, essentially, there. And that, because what you need to do, you need to lift the staff up and then hold it in position. And then on the command, you're going to give ready, cut. That ready, cut means that you drop the staff into, or insert the lower ferrule into the harness socket, and I'll tell you why it's so low in just a second. You insert the ferrule into the socket, slide the right hand down while you drop the left to the side. That's supposed to be all one motion. And I won't get into the ceremonial aspects. But see here, this isn't as good of a grip, and the reason why is because the ferrule's too far out of the harness socket, and you still run the risk of not inserting the heart because it's at an angle. You need to be tilting it up like this, but you still run the risk of not being able to insert the lower ferrule all the way through the hole in the bottom, and I'll show you that, all the way through the hole in the bottom right there. You can see that. That's what you want when you go to ready cut. You're going to drop the staff all the way through to this position, all the way through, insert that lower ferrule into the socket and make it through that bottom hole, drop the left hand and slide the right down so that it's in front of your mouth. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm more used to the ceremonial technique, but you know, that's there's nothing wrong with it, definitely. So that's team. That's what you need to do. So we'll go back here. Remember on that you got to do that hand flip on colors. And then everything moves. All hands move. Are you walking on eggshells? So this is, well, I'll let it play. Slow tempo. You need to have the staffs vertical. They're at an angle forward. At least they match, but you don't have your spades flat either. All right, so this Navy flag is the wrong dimensions. You were marching 3x5 flags, and this is the wrong dimensions. So the Navy flag really should be 3x4. Well, like I was saying, it should be the larger size. But dealing with cadets, sometimes you can't have the cadets manipulate those larger pieces of equipment there, and I get that. But it definitely should have fringe. Although, again, it's the wrong dimensions. And here, so the present isn't the automatic command, or at least I'll say it this way: the organizational doesn't automatically go to present on the command of present arms, and you need to read your service manual, but all of the organizational flags, all the departmental flags are treated this way. They're not dipped just because we say present. However, this scenario, going through a list of commands for the regulation drill sequence for color guard, that's what this is all about, is to execute the commands on the command and ensure that the team is performing the correct techniques. So anyway, your tempo is much too slow, and it seems like you're just almost tiptoeing. You just turned the rifle out, didn't drop it down. Your tempo, though, needs to be anywhere from 116 to 120 steps per minute. So not exactly, the counter march worked well, not exactly the steps that are necessary. And you're not stepping off with that full step. Good. Yeah, and definitely not stepping off with the first step. And I understand breaking up forward instead of just forward march. I'm used to that, dealing with Army and Air Force almost my whole life. So here, though, a 30-inch step. You're not taking it. You're not taking a 30-inch step pretty much any other time. The step technique is just not there. The team also, look here, we've got a separation right in the middle there. The turns are happening in 8 steps. That's good. It's just that slow tempo is dragging the team down. The belt is supposed to be worn. So no, I don't. I think theirs are also too high. So if my arm is your uniform belt, the belt that is holding up your trousers, then this is the web belt that you're wearing here. It goes on. The web belt goes on the uniform belt, not above. All right. For females, right here, females wear their blouse out, so they have the option really of wearing it higher. Above the uniform belt, and that's exactly how it's supposed to be worn with a uniform combination like that. Now, Marine Corps JROTC, Marine Corps females, Marine Corps JROTC females, Navy JROTC females, if they're ever in this type of uniform, they all tuck their shirt, the blouse. They all tuck. It doesn't matter. The Marine Corps order says females will tuck their blouse. So, and you know, it should apply to Navy JROTC. However, we're not going to go there. Anyway, this belt is being worn properly. So is this one. But these two, it doesn't look like. Yeah, maybe his is being worn properly, but his much too high. Yeah. 3 belts worn properly. 1 belt there, Commander. Why are you taking such a small step? So what? I don't understand the extra movement there. So you have your staff, and you give order. You bring it out of the socket. That's fine. You're holding it the way you should, and then you give colors. The first thing you need to do is bring the staff down, not over it. JROTC forces all kinds of interesting thinking, that's for sure. Because even with the gathering the flag underneath the arm, you're supposed to reach straight up, strip the flag, gather it under, but I know that cadets try and make it as perfectly uniform as possible, which is fine, and that was good. So it's colors attention. Air Force and Space Force are the only ones that are silly enough to use the full term color guard. Everybody else uses colors. That was good though. Hovering the rifles, rifles not grounded. As soon as you go to order, excellent job on fingers extended and joined on the side of the rifle. Got some fingers that are not there. So the arms are coming out to the side a bit, and really they need to come straight out. Less of an angle. It looks like it's a bit too much of an angle there. And then feet need to be separated by 12 inches. Then the commander coming to attention is not necessary. I know this is all contrary. The commander coming to attention, I know it's contrary to what probably 95% of the people have come across. Well, you always give commands at attention. That's when you're outside of the formation. When you're inside the formation, you need to act with the formation. Unfortunately, the Air Force is the only one that has identified that and actually put it in the Air Force pamphlet. But it goes for every other service. When you're in the formation, parade staff, when you're in the formation of flag detail, you act with the formation. You come to attention on your own command. You go to parade rest on your own command. So that left elbow needs to come to the side. The right forearm there for the right rifle guard is not parallel. Left elbow for the left guard isn't tucked into the side. And you can see the difference in rifle angles there. So not bad trying to maintain the separation, the distance there on the turns, but it does need some work, definitely. So let me show you something, Commander. You should have only taken one step forward instead of, you pretty much took two. You counter march, you take that step, pivot over, and then bring your feet together and then turn in place. It's only one step forward. You took two. But also, as you mark time, you have a wide walking base. So a walking base is the distance between the inside of each of the feet. We have a normal walking base because whenever we walk, we have a normal separation of the feet. That's how, wherever your feet land is wherever they land. That's what you're used to. Here, when we're marching, it shouldn't be all that much different from when we're walking. It's just that marching is walking at attention. However, here, with your marking time, your feet are much too far apart, and so you're doing this, moving side to side here, and that's very apparent as you're going through that. Let's watch the commander here. See how he's going back and forth and back and forth. Now, there's going to be, your hips are going to shift inside of you. There's going to be some slight movement. Everybody has to mark time, march in place that way. It's just physics. You have to do it. So you're going to have movement. It's going to be natural movement, but it's not going to be like this. So your feet are separated so much, it should be anywhere from 3 to 5 inches, and it looks quite a bit wider. And then again, this is competition. You want everybody's feet to be the same. So you want the mark time to be the same, which is 2 inches for the toe, 4 inches for the heel, coming off the deck. And then you want that walking base, or we can apply it as a marching base for the team. I hate those harnesses. Absolutely hate them. So it need to... Yeah, the bringing the over to the side there, not necessary. Although, that's the technique that ceremonial teams use. That's what I'm used to coming out, bringing it over to the side so that you pull straight down instead of over at an angle. But then again, the Marine Corps order is quite clear: bring it out and then down, not out and then over and down. So anyway, so that hover should be 3 inches. So right rifle guard, you have your fingers are wrapped around the front. So right rifle guard, you have muscle memory then. And I know this is 4 years old, and this really doesn't apply to this team. It applies to other people. But the right rifle guard has muscle memory. If you remember, on the previous order that they did, that's exactly how the rifle looked. It was angled outward. The sling was angled out almost at a 45 to the right there, away from the foot, away from the center line, and then separated from the shoe as well. Remember, you need to have all 3 toes aligned, your 2 toes, the rifle butt toe, and then that rifle grounded up against the foot. So the team was very sharp. It's just that there were several things that really, for me, detracted from the performance, and the lack of maintaining the spacing is definitely one of them. So you're zigging and zagging all throughout the performance, but still, I appreciate the sharpness. I appreciate the effort put in. The team did well. The American flag was never out of its position of honor, so that was really good. I do appreciate it. Just there's lots to work on there for those little tiny details. All right, I hope that was helpful. And see, that's why you don't hold the staff with both hands. There's a lot more for that, but I won't. Nice. Yeah. Love it. Love the colors turn. That's awesome. That's awesome. Gee, I wonder where you got that. Oh, whether it was me or not, I don't care. It doesn't matter. That was great. So since you're finished with the performance, though, it would be much better. It would be much better for you not to march off at right shoulder. Well, at carry. So it would be better for you to march off at angle port, port for colors. Whichever you choose. But this is a color guard is always going to move in a formal fashion. There's nothing really informal. As soon as the colors are cased, you're on the stage essentially. But then marching at carry then is the most formal application of the equipment and the presence for the team. So in essence, everybody should. We're all so used to a colors competition like this. We see color guard after color guard after color guard, and so technically what should have happened as the colors passed, everybody should have stood up in the stands. You're not a spectator anymore. You have to partake in that ceremony, which is why so many teams will practice with a couple of state flags or 2 organizational flags or something like that, because it's, again, technically there was disrespect shown to the American flag by everybody involved. By the judge right here, she had her back to the flag. She should have been turned around, stood at attention. But I get it. This is a competition. This is color guard after color guard after color guard coming through, and you're judging a certain aspect. So yeah, it gets a little bit too familiar with something like this. So trying to maintain leaving at port or angle port, I think would have been better for the team. But that was quite sharp. I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much.